The impetus for us to take on the facilities master plan was a way for us to meaningfully engage our families and our students and our parents in the future of our built environment. As we began the facilities master planning process, it was critical for us to adopt the core values and understand where we stood on the spectrum. By taking collaborate as our starting point, we were able to design a process that allowed us to meet our communities where they were throughout this process. Our first phase was about collecting the data that will be necessary to understand all the needs of our buildings and grounds. In Phase 2, we created a 75-person district-level facilities master planning committee to guide the work, composed of parents, students, teachers, community partners, and public agencies. Phase 3 began the site-level design work, with schools coming together with others in their K-12 pathway to articulate the district-wide vision, principles, and standards in a meaningful way for their schools.
We're in a 1928 building, and it was originally designed as a high school space, and classroom spaces in 1928 were very traditional. You had kids in rows, and it was very tight, and it was very structured, and we didn't have classroom libraries at that time. We didn't have the multiple modality type of learning environment that we see today. So we're limited. We're trying to move more with our students. We're trying to do turn and talk to your neighbor, and we're restricted and limited by the physical space. And we have a greater representation of needs in our schools today. At least we're acknowledging that there is a greater representation of needs in our buildings, and we recognize that we need multiple forms of spaces to support their learning.
We asked principals to identify a diverse set of students, staff, families, and community members to sit on school site design teams. We shared our commitment to collaborate as we engaged teams in a series of in-depth workshops. It was tremendously powerful to be part of those Saturday workshops as an empathy-based design process played out as connected schools work together to solve consistent challenges.
And the school I go to is Crossroads Elementary, and my favorite place to learn at school is the computer lab.
The place to learn is the library because it's quiet and there's computers to search up stuff.
Thinking about the 30 months of the FMP and the number of times in which a student held the rapt attention of a room full of adults, we demonstrated and have shown the power of student voice in decisions and design. In Phase 4, we took all the information and perspectives we had gathered over the last 30 months and turned it into a comprehensive response to where our facilities needed to be over the next 10 years and how we could make commitments to our communities. In fall of 2015, the school board committed to our community-generated vision for decision-making, funding levels, and the need for a 5-year rolling implementation plan. In spring of 2016, the school board, with 4 of 7 new members, approved the first ever 5-year implementation plan. As we make the transition to implementing the approved work, the same inclusive, school-based teams are leading the work forward. As we stand today, we now have an expectation from our school board and our community to continue a collaborative and inclusive design process going forward.